This is legit his worst take ever. That's number one, that's not true. However, so this is a video. I wanted to start off and talk a little bit about this video here. I was going to read a few comments. There were a lot of you guys, a lot of people out here that were not happy with this video. I'm going to try to not be a huge dickhead about this, because I know that a lot of times whenever I do that, I said I wasn't going to be an asshole, but like these comments are just so fucking brain dead retarded. I cannot even fucking believe this. How the fuck can you look at a single screenshot, 2 fucking screenshots, and you can go over to the YouTube channel that they are at, and then look and see the YouTube channel is still there, the videos are still fucking there, everything is still there, but somehow you believe this is some massive fucking censorship scandal by YouTube because they shut down somebody's channel that had 300 viewers. But simultaneously, you can go over to the fucking analytics or the search results, and you see that the search autocomplete is not curated. You can see that there are hundreds of videos about this with millions of views that are not just one type of agenda. This is just baseless. It's just recording what's happening. How the fuck can you be so goddamn stupid to believe that this is automatically censorship by YouTube and it's being done intentionally whenever other websites that are live streaming platforms have the exact same algorithm that works in the exact same way? And on top of that, there's only one point of reference for this entire thing to even happen. It's not like there's 20 different people that this has happened to, and they were all doing positive coverage of the Canada Trucker Rally. There's one person that this happened to, and their shit gets shut down, and the person themselves didn't even report it. It's somebody else, and you get 10 different news articles that are just linking the same fucking tweet over and over and over and over, as if this is somehow evidence, because if they say it to each other enough times, then it becomes true. And yes, you're right that YouTube has censored things in the past. Yes, you're right that you should be skeptical of YouTube, but being skeptical of YouTube is very different than taking one point of reference and then saying that you know their entire agenda because of it. How can you be so fucking dumb? Oh, I'm so mad reading these. Holy shit! A built-in credibility system for YouTube was the dislike button, but they'd gone done and fucked that. I think that, yeah, I was never a fan of YouTube removing the dislike button. I thought it was really stupid, and in my opinion, I think YouTube removed the dislike button to protect brands and governments from... It's protecting brands and governments from negative feedback for whenever they're pushing unpopular opinions. Like the Gillette ad, for example, different things that people would downvote or, dislike every White House thing, Joe Biden, yeah, all that stuff, censorship. So I do think that in the case of the dislike button, it was not direct censorship, but it was indirect censorship because it makes it harder for you to get a read on how people are interpreting the video. So I agree with this. Removing the dislike button was a mistake. So we'll go down and read some more of these. It stops people from showing real-time events on stream. That's what's more important than people using stream bots. It's censorship, but it's sort of censorship. People are obviously willing to let it slip by without looking at the bigger picture. Let's see here. So this is one thing that people would say too, is that it's more important. Now, it's very hard for me to say that it's more important for people to stream events in real time on like random channels. Is that more important than to prevent botting and like viewer manipulation on the website? I don't know if that's necessarily true, because I think that botting and viewer manipulation on the website is bad. I think there's a lot of people that place a very high value on being able to, do you understand? You're nuts. It literally exposes war crimes. It's nuts to place that above bots. Well, you can't even show a war crime on YouTube or you'd get banned. So how does that make any sense to you? Because if you show a war crime, like somebody getting, like people getting blown up or getting killed or something like that, yeah, you would just get banned. Like if somebody posted like an ISIS execution video on YouTube, it doesn't matter if it's anything, you'd still get banned. You think YouTube is going to be looking through every single live stream? Well, they're not. That's not really what's happening. Has to stop the botting, though. It prevents real viewers from seeing a stream. You can still see the stream is up, but not the content. How does it stop botting, though? The reason that it stops botting is it basically it like kind of screenshots or it like freezes the amount of viewers in the stream in order for them to determine whether it's authentic or not. So yeah, when you're doing a live leak react stream, definitely not. Yeah, anyway, so I do think that, like, obviously this is important to do and everything. And I think that the best example of this is I would look at Twitch. I think that Twitch has the same algorithm that YouTube has, but Twitch's algorithm is just it's just better designed. And Twitch has the exact same stuff that YouTube has that I'm talking about right here. To prevent massive amounts of view botting, to prevent anybody from like just follow botting their channel, or from doing anything that's not really authentic. And to say that this is some sort of censorship thing without even considering that there are other websites that do the same thing already, I think is very naive. And what it really comes down to is the calibration of the system. And I think that's really what the focus is. And I think a lot of people forget that just because one person gets their channel silenced or whatever through this system, it doesn't necessarily mean the system is being used intentionally to silence the kind of content that that person is promoting. It doesn't make sense to think that. 301 views is what you said. This just isn't as bad. You don't get access to the content. Oh yeah, no, and that's really what the problem is basically like the threshold shouldn't be so low. That's what the problem. Yeah, like you're definitely like, this is not something that is. It's not something that's not a problem at all. It's just not the problem that people think it is. Does that make sense? So it's not that having this happen regularly to people is good. It's that having this happen regularly to people does not necessarily mean that YouTube is censoring certain kinds of content. Except YouTube censors people all the time for political wrongthing. Well, let's go ahead and look at that. So this was for the Canadian Truckers Rally, and we're going to look right now, and let's see what we can come up with. Canada, trucker, convoy, let's see here, drone. Yeah, there we go. So these are all the different things. So it would make sense that, for example, like if I was YouTube and I was trying to present the trucker convoy as something that's bad, what I would do is I would actually change the way that the autocorrect here, or sorry, the autocomplete here works, and I would add in violence, racism, and stuff like that in order to passively get people to click on videos that would portray the convoy in a bad way. So YouTube isn't really doing, it seems to me, any sort of curation on the different search terms. So it seems like there's no search term curation at all. And trucker, convoy, and let's go ahead and just do stream. Yeah, let's do stream and we'll see what it says. Don't give them ideas. So this is a stream. It has 1 million views and it was streamed 4 days ago. And this is an 8-minute video. Here's another one from the same channel. It has 181 views. It was streamed 2 days ago. Brox, what's up, man? I'm doing well, man. Thanks. And here's another one, 78,000 views. 500,000 views right there. This is another one, 600,000 views. Another one from a random, this seems like kind of a random channel here. Yeah, it only has 19,000 subscribers here. And it has a video that has 200,000 views. It's over 2 hours long. So again, another one right here, longer video, 123K. This is, 269K. There's a lot of people here that are uploading content about this trucker rally. And these are just the ones that are at the top of the search engine. This doesn't necessarily mean that there aren't more of them that exist out there, right? Like this one here, this one, and like a lot of them are the same like maybe 5 or 6 people, but these are just the ones that are on the front page. So it seems to me like it's not being censored. And the reason why I think that it's not being censored, the Canadian Trucker Convoy is not being censored, is because the autocomplete is not curated by YouTube in the same way that it is sometimes with Google. And I think that people can kind of see that. Like, for example, like ask Google, like, why did Donald Trump and why did somebody else like do something? And you're going to sometimes get wildly different results, where one of them is going to be universally negative stuff and the other one is going to be universally positive stuff. And the reason for that is because sometimes these people are able to work with Google to curate the search results of the autocomplete results to portray themselves, to at least not portray, but to encourage people to believe that they are either a bad or a good person, to skew the results. Yeah, that's basically what it is. And this happens regularly. So it seems to me, as I said before, that this is not really being censored on the autocomplete. I think also you can see multiple videos here with hundreds of thousands of views that we're just scrolling down. There are a ton of these that people are talking about. Canadian trucker calls out stifling of freedom. This has 700,000 views from Fox News. And of course, there's a lot of these here. You look at this one right here. It's how big is this channel? It's got 5,000 subscribers here, and the video for the Freedom Convoy has 453,000 views. So have I made my point clear, guys, that there's probably not a lot of active censorship going on here? I think that it doesn't make any sense to say that it's being censored and to come to that conclusion, because there's no other frame of reference that provides you with the reason to think that. There are a lot of other videos that are available that you can watch. There are multiple streams from channels that are big and small. It doesn't make sense to say that they're being censored. And move on. I went to the screen. Okay, so we're going to read a few more of the comments, because I know that people are not happy about this video, and I do want to address it. Trudeau said COVID, same time truck drives in Ottawa. It's such a lose. We're ashamed of him here in Canada. Well, more power to you. So, like, I don't really want to go through again, just like my opinion. I know people criticized me for saying that I didn't know what was going on with the Canada Trucker Rally. What I really meant to say, and this is not really what I meant to say, but this is just like, I say I don't know because I don't want to talk about it, right? And I don't want to go through and have a endless conversation that nobody wins in about, are the truckers right or not? I don't live in Canada. It's not really a big problem for me, and I don't really understand it that well, but I have the gist of what's going on. I do know why they're protesting. It's because of the COVID mandates and the vaccine mandates. I get that. But I just don't want to have that conversation and get people in chat fighting about it all the time. So yeah, there we go. And I'm going to read a few more of these. These are just people that are making responses here. This is clearly designed to limit the exposure of individuals covering current events like those in Canada at the moment. Their channels aren't normally popular, but due to the popularity of the topic they're covering, they go viral. Going viral is supposed to be the entire point of posting media online. Defending this shit is insane. Well, I think that, again, like, comments like this are really surprising to me, because there are other websites that have equivalent types of mechanisms to prevent, like, really big outliers from occurring, because those things are usually viewbotting or some sort of inauthentic viewership. So whenever these things happen, to just say that it's a ridiculous thing, I think is crazy, because other websites do it and it doesn't result with this. There's no reason for me to believe that it's not just some sort of miscalibration. You see kind of what I'm saying? What other websites, though? Twitch does not make politics one of its centerpieces? Well, if Twitch doesn't make politics one of its centerpieces, then why were more people watching Hassan watch the debates than Steven Crowder on YouTube? Hassan has a custom contract with Twitch. There are multiple political streams on Twitch. Is that true? I mean, yeah. Is it as big as it is on YouTube? Probably not, no. But there's a lot of things like beauty that are really big on YouTube as well that aren't really on Twitch at all. And yeah, Twitch had, the AOC Among Us thing and a bunch of other stuff too. Carter keeps getting banned. Yeah, I think that's before he got banned. Either way, it was like last year or something like that. At first I was thinking, how is this censorship? But I've looked at these comments. You guys are making a lot of really good points. So, never give big tech the benefit of the doubt. They have shown dozens of times that doing so is stupid. I think that whenever you rage against the machine, you have a lot of people who will reflexively agree with you. These are people like, it's almost like the difference between being kind of like a sheep and a contrarian, where in my opinion, I feel like they're about the same thing, because both opinions are derived from something that is not internal. These are derived from an outside source, and they are reactive and they are reactionary feelings. I'm not defending big tech, but I don't think that it's fair to just randomly assume something with no evidence and then assume it's right. And if you question whether this baseless accusation is right, then somehow you're helping big tech. I don't understand how so many people think like this. Yeah, I really don't. And I think this is the same thing that happened whenever I made the video about Amazon, and I said that it was a mistake that Amazon made whenever they DMCA'd that guy's channel. And I said, call me out if I'm wrong, if anybody else gets DMCA'd. And nobody else got DMCA'd because I wasn't wrong. So just reflexively thinking that the big corporation is in the wrong every single time is, in my opinion, as stupid as reflexively thinking that they're in the right every single time. Because neither of these positions are arrived at through evidence. Neither of these positions are thought out. These are reactionary positions that have no basis in what you're even thinking about. They're categorical. As usual, won't even matter to anyone they're trying to limit, but it will affect innocent channels for sure. Well, I think that's usually what happens, right? And like that definitely is about the calibration of it, which does seem to be a problem. Absolutely. Let's see here. Asmon doesn't realize this system can be used to get stream taken down with viewbot attacks. Yeah, that could happen. That can happen on Twitch too. Like if you have a very, yeah, that's bad. It seems weird that somebody like that would say this, because it's not like that means that you shouldn't have a system like this. It just means that it shouldn't trigger as early as it did with 300 viewers. Do you see what I'm saying? It's a different kind of hate raid? Yeah, I think that's a new way to look at it. Yeah, sure. I think that makes sense. In other views, OP just discovered DDoS attacks. Well, yeah. It's not just a DDoS. It's like if you are maliciously viewbotting somebody, and this has actually happened on Twitch, but it's rare, is that you maliciously viewbot somebody, and then Twitch sees their viewership, and they decide that they're not going to partner that person because of that, basically. So that's basically it. Could there be that there's way more censorship in Canada and the Canadian government is pressuring YouTube? So you think that the censorship's only happening in Canada and it's like people with Canadian IP addresses are getting the censorship and not American? Like, I don't know. I mean, like, that's possible, right? I mean, of course that's possible. But, like, this is just a random accusation with no basis behind it. Yeah, I mean, sure, like, maybe that's happening. But that's like kind of an extreme thing, and I would not accept that without evidence. And I think that really this is kind of the real problem with a lot of these kinds of actions that YouTube takes. And I think it's also the same thing with the government. People see, like, with COVID, with like distrusting the government about like vaccines and shit like that. And people feel the same way about Facebook, YouTube, etc. Is that they feel like the government or the companies have broken the public's trust so many times by removing dislike count, by making you have to attach like your real name to things, by selling your data on Facebook to third-party advertisers, and all kinds of other things that generally make people uncomfortable, that then whenever something does go wrong and the government or the company is actually right, people don't believe them. It's like the government says, wait a minute, no, this is actually a legit thing. And it's like the boy who cried wolf, except it's the government that cried false flag, right? That's really what happened. And so the first time it actually happens, people were like, wait a minute, no, this is bullshit. It's not real. Like, that's effectively what it is, I think. The trucker thing is the most covered and discussed thing in the country right now on all news stations. The government couldn't censor it even if they wanted to. Yeah, I think that would be the case. Not sure if this is something that would be an interest of you, but Twitter announced that they are adding a downvote and dislike button. I don't know how that's going to go. I'm not sure. I think that, like, just usually, like, in Twitter, I feel like Twitter is fine the way it is. Yeah, like, why? I feel like this will create, like, how much positive and how much negative will this create? Yeah, the new ratio. Yeah, I feel like it will create more negative than positive. But we'll see what happens. Twitter always does crazy shit like that. Okay, let's see here. Next comment. And I'm just scrolling down, right? And YouTube destroyed the trust they had from the community whenever they removed the dislike button. Yeah, exactly. Like, what this guy's saying is true. So, like, this guy's saying exactly what I'm saying. Is that even if this is something that's innocuous and it's not a bad thing, because so many people are already predisposed to think YouTube is lying and YouTube is like a piece of shit, then they're going to automatically think that anything that YouTube does is bad. And they're going to assume the worst because that's what's happened in the past. It's basically like what I said before about human brain is very good at picking up patterns. Hold on a second. Sure, this is bullshit. True, but striking historical content for promoting social conflict and cruelty smells like fake what happened in the past. Promoting social conflict and cruelty? Yeah, I don't know about that. I think it depends on what it is, but in general, I don't support that either. Yeah, that seems like it's kind of bad. Trump on Twitter? Why? This is on YouTube. Like, I'm just talking really about YouTube here. Okay, so, internet for 20 years, it's always been this, people like being dumb as usual. Well, I feel like this is an exception. Like, a lot of people were unhappy with this video, so I thought I could do people the favor of sitting down and talking about it. If people don't want to take down a streamer they don't like, just viewbot them. It's not even that expensive to do. Yeah, and this is a problem that Twitch had as well. And Twitch was able to deal with it. I think YouTube will be able to deal with it as well. Yeah, and again, it's about calibration. And also, like, how do you handle something like that? Because it is very hard. So, like, let's go ahead and just talk about this just for a minute, right? So, how do you handle the problem of a person who's, like, let's say getting viewbotted to 10,000 viewers, and they say it's not them, but they could be lying, and their presence on the website is harmful to everybody else on the website because it gives false credibility to their content that does not exist. So is your responsibility to the individual, or is it to the community to deliver them content that is authentic? How do you deal with this? How do you address this? It's very hard. It's actually not as simple of a question as you might think. How about we require concrete evidence before bans go out? Well, I think that there are other... I'll use Twitch again as an example. Nobody was getting banned. The channel just got... temporarily, the stream got paused, and more people couldn't come in and watch the stream because it got triggered by an algorithm. Nobody got banned. That didn't happen. It's semi-impossible to prove that. Exactly, and that's my point. Yeah, that's my point exactly. This is censorship, period. People use social media to stream all sorts of content from protests to video games. What it does is put a massive squash on exposure. I get it for stopping bots, but this only surfaced to me as a Canadian watching the Convoy stream. I've never seen this thing ever before until this spread around the world. I don't know. I mean, has anybody else experienced, like, here's the thing. Like, let me see if I can look this up and see for myself. YouTube censorship stream, I guess. We're going to search this. And we're going to see if we can find any information here about it happening to anybody else. Because obviously, like, there's been other people that this might have happened to. And let's see if there's anybody else that this has happened to. It happened in, like, let's say the last month. So here's one right here. Blocked YouTube videos. Okay, so we have... Yeah, so we have... oh, this is not found. All right. So we've got a few different articles here. And let's look at the articles, and we'll see what they say. So this is the one individual that got their channel silenced. It's this one right here. And maybe also another one. I'm not sure really which video this was. So let's assume that 2 channels had this happen. And then let's go ahead and look at the other one here. Oh, this is just a link to that one. And then this is another article that's used. YouTube censorship. So This is just the same information here. So there's no, like what I'm saying, this is all the same person. It's all linking the same tweet. One person had this happen. I mean, I'm looking for more of these. I'm just literally searching YouTube censorship stream, and here's another random website. I don't even want to read this. I'll read it just for the sake of the argument, okay? Yep, it's the same fucking thing. And YouTube live streamer, it's the same person. It's just a bunch of articles that are being written about the same tweet over and over and over. Using Google whenever trying to find dirt on YouTube. What do you want me to use? You want me to use Yahoo? Do you think like Google is like censoring all of this in real time? You want me to use DuckDuckGo? Yeah, there we go. Let's get back to basics, and we'll use Ask Jeeves. Yeah, it's insane to me. That's a proven thing. Yeah, but just because something has happened doesn't mean that it's currently happening. I'm not saying that, like, what I'm saying, like, yeah, maybe this is the case. This is the same thing that I've said with a lot of stuff. And you should always search DuckDuckGo. Wait, do people actually want me to go on DuckDuckGo and search this? Because I'll do it just for the sake of the argument. I will do this. Sure, yeah, let's do it. Okay, and this is the website right here. Okay, YouTube Censorship 2022 Canada. Alrighty. And it's basically the same thing. So do we have a way that I can search all regions anytime? Let's look past month or so. So YouTube censorship. Okay, there we go. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know what that is, but we're going to look at it in a minute. I think we already saw this one. And USA News. It's the exact same. Most of it is. All right, so we have a number of different articles. These are all of the top articles that show this. Let's see if there are any other people that have experienced this besides this one individual. Okay, so it's linking the same tweet again with the same picture. Okay. Okay, this is like a message board from 2002. I mean, I'm guessing this is probably talking about the same thing. Yeah, I mean, there's no examples of this given. And let's look at this one here. So it's the same tweet again with the same picture. And so it's the same picture again. And that's it. And this is about something completely different. Popular is on YouTube. Okay, it's the same picture again. And then there's the same tweet after that. And political talk right here. It's again the same picture. And you have everybody, there's one more here. Anti-America, they have the same picture here, and then here's the tweet. And then, oh yeah, there's the picture again. Oh, did they link? Yeah, okay, well, they linked the tweet twice here. That way, you know, in case you forgot about it, you get to see it again. So really what we have is one use case, potentially two use cases. I don't know if this is the same person here, of this happening. So with literally thousands of people going out of their way to try to figure out and find things that YouTube is censoring, because a lot of people, let's be honest, their channel is built around that kind of content. These are people, these are hammers looking for nails. And every hammer is just using the same nail. They're literally just copy-pasting the same thing over and over and over. I feel like I'm in Twitch chat and I'm just reading copy pasta. What the fuck did you say about me, you little bitch? Don't you know that I'm a sniper with 300 confirmed kills? That's where we're at. This happened to one person. Everybody's losing their minds. There's evidence many places where there are long videos here. A lot of these are not long videos, but some of them at the top, because I searched stream, and so most of the streams are at the top. There's one right there. You know, there are so many of these streams showing individuals doing this. It's unbelievable to me to have so much pushback. What proof is there? The guy didn't view bot himself to get his stream limited and create the censorship controversy. I don't really think that happened because he didn't bring it up. If it was him that brought it up, then I think that you could have probably assumed that's the case, but it wasn't him that brought it up. So let's see here. Seems like a good way to make sure a lot of people don't see something you don't want them to before it gets too many views. If you're a hammer, every problem is a nail. That's most of YouTube's decisions. That's true, and I think that they should have dealt with this more like a scalpel rather than a hammer. You're right. It should have been much more precise. You see what I'm saying here? Sometimes automated system does nothing, does something, and everyone writes articles implying it was an intentional decision. Well, yeah, and what I'm saying is that what's so bad about this is that such blatant, just blatant misinformation is treated as if it's unquestionable. It's very frustrating for me to read this kind of stuff because I just don't like automated systems making decisions like this. Let a human have the final say. That's unrealistic. It's unrealistic to think that. Like, there's too much content happening on. It's impossible. Like, yeah, you just can't do that. Just have a human watch every single video uploaded every day. No, it's not possible, man. So I'll keep going, and I'll view the rest of these, and then we'll move on. It depends on what the threshold is. Live streaming is becoming more popular by the day, so the potential for small channels to gain rapid view count on live streams is just getting bigger, especially when covering spontaneous events. This absolutely has the potential to be unfair censorship, even if the excuse is to stop bots. If the argument is, why don't they make the algorithm smarter to differentiate live streams, there's no freaking way you actually have the confidence in them to do that. They don't tune the algorithms to be fair to users. They never have. Look at the copyright and DMCA systems just as an example. I think this is a really bad example because YouTube did nothing about this until they were legally obligated to. So why would you look at this as YouTube being malicious whenever DMCA is a law that YouTube didn't write? Excuse then was to stop uploaders from doing pirated content to YouTube somewhere back in the day. And for being honest, they never did that, did they? Small channels get screwed over by their trash copyright system to this day. I mean, I'm sure that happens, but it's probably not like it happens to everybody. I think there's a lot of people that doesn't happen to. They just adjust to avoid any liability. Well, it's not really any liability. It's like, why would they want to do that in the first place? Let's see here. If people don't want to stream it, they don't like, just viewbot them. It's not even that expensive to do. And this is like, again, this is the kind of stuff that you see, is that 10 of these other articles are written. No one even questions the authenticity of it because people have already made up their mind on the article the moment that they read the headline. Nobody is thinking about, wow, I wonder how many people this happened to. Oh, it happened to 2 people at most. And there's no evidence that it's not just a screenshot, 2 screenshots of the same guy. You see what I'm saying? And you have so many people that are just, they are 100% convinced that this was a decision made by YouTube intentionally. It's unbelievable. I think the potential implications for misusing his new rules still raises concerns for the future, doesn't it? The lack of use cases for a specific instance are beyond the point. Yeah, of course it's worrying, and that's why I was talking about it originally. I think that it is something that YouTube should make sure is not becoming oppressive to new creators. Of course, it should be fine-tuned, and it should be better calibrated, as I said before. Absolutely. It happened, so it's unquestionable. The tool is there. Well, it's unquestionable that it happened, but it is not unquestionable why it happened. Do you see what I'm saying? And yes, everybody knows that it happened. Of course everybody knows that it happened. But you don't know why it happened. They will continue to ban anything that goes against their agenda, though. Well, then why are there all of these videos about the Canadian convoys? If they're going to ban anything that goes against their opinions, then why are there so many videos about it? Does that make any sense? Maybe we don't understand their agenda? Yeah, it's hard to say. Most of those videos got a mainstream media spin, and they make them look like as Nazis. Okay. Well, this is the top video. Let's see.
Be done on Earth. please stand on guard?
There's no commentary about this at all.
Some of these streets, different sections, and way on the other side, there's another section.
Holy fuck.
There's a lot in
I've been here since...
It's up in here.
Yeah.
So how do you explain that? That's not a mainstream media video, though. Okay, so then why isn't it being silenced? Why is the top result something that you think directly conflicts with their ideology? It's too late to silence something that already caught fire by people? Well, what do you think? Then why do they keep silencing COVID people? If the topic is too big now, COVID's bigger than this, and they keep silencing people who say that vaccines give you, like, aren't working. So how does that make sense? You're the person that doesn't know what they're talking about. I really don't think that a vaccine made in a month can be safe. So that is the response that you give me. After all of these reasons of why YouTube is censoring it, you just say that the vaccine that was made in a month is not safe. That's nice. I like, you're entitled to your opinion. But what I'm telling you here is that obviously YouTube can censor huge topics because they have with COVID vaccines. The Canadian Trucker Freedom Convoy is not even remotely as big as the vaccine conversation. This affects one country. The vaccines affect the entire world. To say that they're even remotely the same is ridiculous. So it's clearly not because of the size and YouTube feeling like they can't censor it because it's gotten so popular. And on top of that, the top result of these kinds of things are, there's one with the Daily Show right here. I'm pretty sure Trevor Noah is probably going to say they're bad. But most of these results, like these are two from VidStorm. This is just a random person that's making videos without any sort of commentary at all. I don't know how many more of these we're going to go through. I'm just, are you able to check the channel without getting any error? Maybe it's some kind of advertisement? Yeah, I can check the channel. There's no error at all. I'll read a few more comments and we're going to move on. There's a video on how the Federal Reserve works that's hidden on YouTube. So, we've got a lot of these here. And some of these could be things that are legitimate. Some of them are probably not. It's hard to say. Not hidden. Well, I don't know if it's hidden or not. Somebody would have to link it to me, and then you would have to search for it and see if you could find it that way. Corruption. How about Federal Reserve corruption? Fed were a big deal. Stock trading scandal. It's like 500 views. Ron Paul on auditing the Federal Reserve. I feel like there are a number of things here so corrupt it's almost funny. Yeah, there are a number of things here that are completely negative about it. It's hidden. Yeah, I mean, I think you'd have to show me what the video is, and then if somebody shows me the video, then I could see if it was hidden or not. Do you see what I'm saying? Recommendations destroyed? Yeah, and there's a good chance that the recommendations could be curated. But we just can't know that because we have no frame of reference. Do you see what I'm saying? So, like, I'm willing to accept that some of these recommendations can be curated, but many of the videos here are pretty much, they're either neutral, some are negative, most are positive, but there are some negative videos about the Federal Reserve. So let's go ahead and read a few more comments. Let's see here. Seems like a good way to make sure a lot of people don't see something you don't want them to before it gets too many views. Apparently that didn't really work, considering, again, that's the top result of the... And also, like, look here. This is not... I'm not saying, like, freedom stream. I'm not saying march for liberty. I'm not typing in a search word that would imply a viewpoint. You see what I'm saying? So let's see here. System's too flawed to affect babies, badly affect small creators. Yeah, I think that's the biggest issue behind it, for sure. It's pretty counterintuitive to the algorithm. Basically said you can't have a viral video. Yeah, exactly. And I think that's what the issue is. It's not censorship if an algorithm is wrongly configured, resulting in censoring stuff, because it just needs some calibration. Also, Asmon, article that does warn about the censorship is misinformation. Can somebody translate? Well, what does this mean? Article that does warn. Oh, so I think this is a person that they think that because COVID misinformation gets you banned, that me saying that the video, or sorry, that article was misinformation implies that I should ban it. That should be banned as well. Do you see what I'm saying? I think that's where they're going. No? Well, what do you think they mean? Yeah, I don't even understand what they're saying. No, we don't see what you're saying. Yeah, I don't understand it at all. Okay, let's move on. All right, let's go to another one. Don't worry, guys. Corporations have our best interests in mind. Don't question blanket censorship and removing the ability for yourself to view the content, make a decision of your own. After all, YouTube's algorithm works perfectly well at detecting legitimate uses of copyrighted material. See, seriously, though, this is a bad take, man, and uncharacteristically naive. I'm actually curious how it's uncharacteristically naive for me to not just accept a narrative given to me with one frame of reference. With one evidence point as a frame of reference from a source that already has a bias. How is that naive? I think that, yeah, the corporations should be... you should not immediately accept what they're doing to be always true, no. But if you always accept what they're doing to be something else, that's equally bad. Because both of those things are arrived at without looking at the situation, and they're arrived at with an opinion that you like. This is just, let me think of a way to put this. It's ideological. It's not circumstantial. It's not circumstantial around the situation. It's an ideological perspective. Yeah, I reviewed the evidence. I found it not to be sufficient. It's very weird for me to see this. Asmon, the tech companies have too much power to affect things like elections. Also, Asmon, oh, this totally wasn't a tech company affecting everything. It was just an innocent algorithm. Another misunderstanding that is being used as a gotcha. Why can't it be both? Yeah, there's no reason that it can't be both. A lot of the things that the companies do. Do you remember, like, let me give you an example. Do you remember whenever Hillary Clinton told Donald Trump to delete his account, and then Twitter put a banner at the very top of your screen to go to the tweet? Do you guys remember that? That happened like 5 or 6 years ago. No, not really. I do. I remember it. So, anyway, I don't really have a problem with what most of the problems that I have with what the tech companies do are things that they do in plain sight. Yes, there is algorithm manipulation and things like that I think is also bad. But just because, here's the thing, just because I think this should be the case doesn't mean that every single thing that these companies do is automatically something that's bad. Do you see what I'm saying? It's very weird for me to see these kind of comments because both of these things can be true simultaneously. They were doing these things as shadow bans for years now. Hololive, yeah, I've heard about that. This is not necessarily a shadow ban. I think that a lot of people that get shadow banned are actually people that are just making really bad content and they're coming up with a reason why people aren't watching it. I've seen that for sure. But also, I mean, I'm sure that there are examples of being shadow banned as well. It's hard to say which one is which, but I'm sure that it happens. Okay, let's see here. If YouTube is willing to go as far as removing dislikes, it is so believable for them to censor anyone they dislike. I think that's totally true. It could be possible that YouTube is censoring people, but you would need more, like, for example, like for stupid copyright strikes, for example. Like, I think this is another example that people use regularly of things that YouTube does wrong. You have a million examples of people being fucked over by YouTube's copyright system. Whereas in this case, there's only one example. You see what I'm saying? You can check your comments or shadow ban on YouTube with a second account. Yeah, I'm sure you can probably log out to do the same thing. Only one example yet? Yeah, of course. And here's the thing, right? So if, for example, let's talk this out, right? Let's talk this out assuming that it's true. It's actually true. YouTube is trying to censor people that are, talking about the convoy, or let's say this is going to happen in the next political controversy, whichever one happens in like 3 months, 6 months, whatever, right? And a lot of people that are streaming it, and they have one point of view on it, all of these people are having their stream taken down because of this algorithm, and it's only the people that have this point of view. Well, then obviously it's time for another video, isn't it? Of course. Absolutely. Shadow bans won't lose views, heavy loss in content promotion to subs and recommended videos. One way, well, I'll give you an example, right? A shadow ban is that if you use profanity in a title, it'll shadow ban your account for a long time. We had to deal with that before with our own channel, so that's how I know about it. Now, is that a good thing or not? That's up to you. I think it's not, but there are some things that are not necessarily, again, intentional. They're just automated. If your end goal is to censor specific things, would you censor everything at once or take small steps to not scare people? Well, with COVID, they just censored everything at once, and that seemed to work pretty well. I think that like the idea of easement and like kind of getting people acclimated to it is I think it's disproven mainly by COVID. Is Asmon actually a COVID skeptic? I don't really care. I am a C student in English in high school, COVID person. I don't know anything about it. All I hear is information that's completely the opposite of each other. And I can't do my own research because I don't know anything that they're saying. Like, I can't read a science paper, like a scientific study, and know if it's true or not. Even if I read it and I see the conclusion, because I don't know enough about the subject matter to be able to adequately understand what the methodology is and know if it's adequate or not. Like, I can't even tell if it works. Yeah, I have no idea. Did you see a devastating pandemic around you ever? I'm gonna ban you. You're banned. You argued in a stupid way, and then whenever your argument was found to be stupid, you just start saying how COVID's fake. And again, I want to make sure that you understand this. You're not being banned for saying COVID's fake. You're banned for being stupid. That's all there is to it. You seem to be making a lot of excuses for YouTube. It's a slippery slope to simply censor a video because it's too popular, especially for a company with a history of bad censorship. Instead, I recommend asking a question: should YouTube be taking a specific approach against bots in the first place? A similar question for why they got rid of the dislike counter. I think so. I do. I think that there is a good idea, and it is a good idea to have an algorithm to stop streams that are being view-botted and to make sure that they don't go trending. Because if you don't do that, then everybody's going to start view-botting. It's very important to do that. And to have some control over that, or to have some sort of accountability for it. Twitch does it all the time. Like, for example, there is a thing where Elon Musk is going to, he's going to give you, if you give Elon Musk 1 Bitcoin, he now will give you 2 Bitcoins. And in 2 minutes, it already has 15,000 views. 15,000 viewers. Yeah, what's crazy, right? And so YouTube shuts those down, and they get shadow banned immediately because they break the threshold. Would not be easy to tell if someone if the accounts were watching or bots. Well, this is really what happens, is that thresholds and algorithms like that usually hit 99% accuracy. And there's like a 1% people that accidentally get fucked over by it. And I think that's pretty fair. Like, I mean, it really is. It's pretty fair. 99% efficiency, like, that's pretty fucking good. 99% coming from where? Well, coming from the amount of channels that are probably, like, well, logically think about this, right? How many Twitch channels do you see on the front page that are regularly really, really high viewerships and also being view-botted that have been online for a long period of time? Very few, almost none. And there used to be a lot. There would be like 10 a day. So it's obvious that they've done something to prevent this from happening. And the something that they've done to prevent it from happening is obviously an algorithm. Because they're not having somebody sit there all day doing it. It's an algorithm. You understand what 1% percent of a number is then? Wait, what? So Twitch is flawed. Okay. I'm just gonna ban him and move on. We're just gonna ban him. We're gonna move on. I'm not gonna bring his name up. We're not gonna argue with him. We're just gonna ban him and move on. Just a moron. Let's see here. Logic and critical thinking go right out the window when people have an excuse for their side to be the victim. Yep. That's pretty, yeah, that's pretty fucking true. Absolutely. This sort of reminds me, well, actually, this one only has 6 updates. See, headlines aren't looking for reasons by Blizzard. We didn't think other countless possibilities. Someone was cleaning out the fridge, threw it out. Well, the reason why people thought the breast milk thing was real is because multiple people confirmed it. That's another thing, is that you have multiple people saying the same thing. With this, it was only one person. So that's why people thought it was more real. Wait, it was fake? No, it wasn't fake. Well, nobody knows if it, I don't think it was fake. It probably wasn't fake because other people have told me that they've had the same thing happen in their company as well. And so it would go to, it would stand to reason that it probably isn't fake, but at the same time, I can't be 100% sure. Okay, so let's see here. We're going to read just a few more. This is legit his worst take ever. That's number one, that's not true. However, not only YouTube can already track view botters, there are many channels that get insane view on their first stream, like people from another platform, pro gamers that decide to stream, VTubers debut, etc. Asmon legit don't know what he's talking about. Okay, let's address this one. So what he's saying is that because there are channels of people that are already very popular, that basically what it is he's saying that because there's like people, let's say like I don't know, like T-Pain or some other, you know, popular person, like a celebrity streams on YouTube and they get a certain amount of viewers or something like that. I don't really know if that's a very good piece of evidence. And the reason why I don't think it's very good is because a lot of the people that happens to already have existing YouTube channels. They just hadn't streamed on them before. So it's not like they're streaming on a YouTube channel with 1 subscriber. They're just streaming on a YouTube channel that has a bunch of subscribers, and there's not really a lot of content on there. You see kind of what the difference is? People think the algorithm is that simple. You can't really argue with them. Yeah. And their partner. What is shit comment? Yeah, it's just so stupid. Crazy how fast the chat went from calling YouTube stupid for censorship to calling people stupid for thinking YouTube is censoring. Asmon's fickle chat never fails to deliver. It's very disappointing to see people say stuff like that. Because, of course, the chat would go from thinking that. Because the first headline was saying that YouTube was censoring things. So people assumed that it was true and they said, fuck YouTube. And then after looking at the evidence, people came to the conclusion that it was actually people just being stupid and YouTube wasn't doing that. It's another thing. Being fickle is also whenever you respond to evidence. You see what I mean? Yes, changing your mind when presented with new information is fickle. Yeah. This isn't new. It's been streaming through mobile. It's been streaming through mobile devices for years. It's documented in Google's support for under 1,000 sub streamers. Yeah, that could be the case, and that guy probably did have under 1,000 subs. His take was poor on this one. This is only to combat small creators who happen to get a little popularity with a video or two, but because their channel doesn't meet the requirements to have a certain number of expected views, then the video becomes unavailable. Instead of lowered in recommendations, it is removed entirely. That is by definition is censorship. This rule and policy was put into place because people who don't stream or have news channels were streaming themselves, or the trucker protest in Ottawa. It was designed to implement it to censor the protest going on in Canada and Australia, and nothing about viewbotting. Viewbotting will always be around, and instead of having a viewbot, you can just make a bot, have 1,000 accounts, and subscribe to the channel. This is clearly to censor protests, which YouTube disagrees with, and not to deal with the real issue that Asmon says is view botting. Man, that is just crazy, isn't it? Why would YouTube disagree with the protests? What an assertion. People think YouTube disagrees with the protests because YouTube is probably, YouTube supports more things that are left-leaning than right-leaning. And generally, the way that the battle lines with this are drawn is that the protests are right-wing and being against them is left-wing. So because YouTube is considered left-wing, then they are against the protests. That's why. Let's read a few more of these. This argument fell in on itself. This isn't about view botting. Even if it was, someone faking engagement doesn't grow it. Yeah, they do. They absolutely do. Like Ponyhoff, I think, was one of the main people who used to viewbot all the time. And he actually has an audience of viewers now because he viewbotted. There's a lot of people who viewbot, and they gain something from it. Why do you think people are viewbotting if they don't grow from it? But for, like, this convoy thing everyone's bringing up, does grow. It has real people seeing it. Real things they care more about and want more of. This simply shuts that down, and double down for a platform with a track record of censorship is naive. This convoy thing everyone's bringing up does grow, and it has real people seeing real things. Yeah, and again, there are a lot of videos of the convoy that are presented objectively, at least, and it seems like these videos are up and there's no problem. Pony viewbotted before? Yeah, he used to viewbot all the time. Just go back and look at his old streams. See how many followers he got with how many viewers. He's viewbotting. You know it, I know it, everybody knows it. Athene's viewbotting too. Now he is. He didn't viewbot originally. Okay, so let's see here. Bad take, agree with several other comments. YouTube just wants to control the flow of information. This is part of the structural system that they want. Oh my god. How are people like this? I don't understand. It's gatekeeping, pure and simple, but of course, guy with millions of viewers and 10 plus years of creator history has no problem with it. It happened to one person. I don't understand this. I agree with you most of the time, but your thought on this is short-sighted in my opinion. I think this is to target streamers that are not on the polar mentality of YouTube and Google. They get censored or banned and create a new stream. That stream will automatically have more followers and viewers than the little guy. So what he's saying is that people that disagree with YouTube politically are getting banned. That's just ban evasion. Yeah, exactly. I think this is a bad take from Asmon. Okay, now we have a few more. I'm only going to spend 10 more minutes on this, then we're going to move on, okay? A couple of things. YouTube already has other safeguards in place against botting. IP checkers, hyperlink usage, etc. Well, Twitch has that too, but they still have this algorithm, so that's not really a good point, because if Twitch already has the algorithm as well, and they also have IP checkers and filters, etc., then why would Twitch need it? But they still have it, and it seems to work. This is something which stops people from reaching other viewers, which stops YouTube from, let's say, hiding the stream from the main page and recommendations. They flag it as suspicious viewer spike. If the viewer stops having access to the main page with fake viewers, there's no benefit. Well, yeah, that's the whole reason why they have the system, is so there's no benefit. That's the whole point. Like, that's the whole point of it. You're arguing with political fanatics that are arguing in bad faith. Even if you rationalize this to the most simple level, they'll still say you're wrong. Asmon missing the fact that this will be used to censor breaking news. He didn't miss anything. YouTube pays him. Twitch pays him. Follow the money. These are the comments made. Will be used to censor breaking news. I don't think that's true at all. There's no evidence of that being true. Yeah, there's no evidence. Like, under that logic, I would be paid by Blizzard, but I say bad things about Blizzard too. I've been very critical. If you look at, like, for example, Asmongold YouTube. Let's see if I can find some more of these. This is me saying that I don't like Twitch and I might move to YouTube. But, I mean, if I'm getting paid by both of them, that doesn't really make sense. Do I have any other commentary about other YouTube decisions? I'm sure I have, but I don't know how to, like, search for it. Yeah, it's really kind of hard to say. This video, I was very negative about YouTube. I feel like I've been, like most of the videos that I make are negative towards YouTube. Wasted night on stupid topic? I don't think, see, to me it's not wasted, because whenever you have this many people that think something like this, I want to address it even if you think it's stupid, because it's something that a lot of people believe. And it's important to address things like this logically and make sense out of them. The reason for that is that I think a lot of times, like if you go with the, there are a lot of times people think that they're right about something and they don't want to explain it. Now, obviously, I've banned people without explaining things to them before, but that's probably because I've explained the same thing 50 times before. This is something I haven't really talked about before, and that's why I'm taking time talking about it. There are thousands of people that are upset about this video, and they're believing me to be paid by YouTube or paid by some sort of, you know, like shadow government thing to come out with this opinion. Sorry, Asmon, but you're wrong on this one. This mostly limits live stream events. There are too many ways of fighting against bottings. This is not one of them. This is just another way for a tech giant to control the spread of information. Well, I just, like... How does he know that? Well, because, he's right? Yeah, sure. It's just, it's unbelievable, man. There's nothing to gain by trusting and a lot to gain by being skeptical. Okay, so I either trust this or I trust YouTube. Or I'm either skeptical of this or I'm skeptical of YouTube. Do you understand? Like, you have to make a decision about what you're skeptical about regardless. Or be skeptical of both. I said I was. But I think that, like, being skeptical of something is very different than taking evidence that's not there and pretending like it is. You can't argue with people not thinking straight, dude? I guess not. Yeah, it's just, it's crazy to see so many people that are so stupid. Like, I mean, really, that's my real opinion. These are just, it's so, like, I said I wasn't going to be an asshole, but, like, these comments are just so fucking brain dead retarded. I cannot even fucking believe this. How the fuck can you look at a single screenshot, 2 fucking screenshots, and you can go over to the YouTube channel that they are at, and then look and see the YouTube channel is still there, the videos are still fucking there, everything is still there, but somehow you believe this is some massive fucking censorship scandal by YouTube because they shut down somebody's channel that had 300 viewers. But simultaneously, you can go over to the fucking analytics or the search results, and you see that the search autocomplete is not curated. You can see that there are hundreds of videos about this with millions of views that are not just one type of agenda. This is just baseless. It's just recording what's happening. How the fuck can you be so goddamn stupid to believe that this is automatically censorship by YouTube and it's being done intentionally whenever other websites that are live streaming platforms have the exact same algorithm that works in the exact same way? And on top of that, there's only one point of reference for this entire thing to even happen. It's not like there's 20 different people that this has happened to, and they were all doing positive coverage of the Canada Trucker Rally. There's one person that this happened to, and their shit gets shut down, and the person themselves didn't even report it. It's somebody else, and you get 10 different news articles that are just linking the same fucking tweet over and over and over and over as if this is somehow evidence, because if they say it to each other enough times, then it becomes true. And yes, you're right that YouTube has censored things in the past. Yes, you're right that you should be skeptical of YouTube, but being skeptical of YouTube is very different than taking one point of reference and then saying that you know their entire agenda because of it. How can you be so fucking dumb? Oh, I'm so mad reading these. I'm so mad. Holy shit. You spend all day on the internet, and then you tell me that I'm stupid for spending all day on the internet like I don't have an opinion about this. I don't understand real life. What the fuck do you mean? Don't you love being mad? It's just, it's so, I wasn't going to be toxic, but I've read too many of them, man. I'm over the line. I'm pissed. This is Asmongold's worth type. He's endorsing an algorithm which is going to hurt smaller creators. No, I'm fucking not. I'm saying it should be fucking changed. I'm saying they should recalibrate it. They should make it to where it doesn't do this. But this is not a major algorithm that's hurting smaller creators. It happened to one person. Of course this is bad. Nobody thinks it's good that a random person has their stream shut down for this. My problem is people assuming that it's political without even thinking, without even like trying to put any sort of critical thinking involved. Because YouTube bad, so if YouTube has something happen, it must be because YouTube is bad. I understand that YouTube has lost your trust. It's lost many people's trust, and it deserves that. But that doesn't mean that you just automatically assume what they're doing. You're not automatically right. On top of that, it is the same thing to be a sheep that listens to the mainstream media and believes everything that Tucker, not Tucker Carlson, people like him, everything that Anderson Cooper or CNN tells you. You are just the same as those people if the first thing that you think of is that it's fake, because both of these opinions are not based on the facts. They are not based on the event. They are not based on any evidence. They are reactionary points of view that are arrived at before you even look at the situation. You are no better than people that believe everything that they see on CNN. Just being a contrarian is just as pathetic and stupid as being a sheep. It is a joke. This is an absolute fucking joke, because people sit around and they radicalize themselves as if every single time something gets removed on the internet, it's political censorship, without even thinking about it and seeing what other websites are doing, seeing if there's other use cases of this, seeing how often it's happened, seeing if there are other related content that have experienced this type of thing, seeing how other related content that you think might be being censored is being shown on YouTube. You take all of that and you throw that in the garbage, and you just invent your own fan fiction, and then you see a bunch of different articles that are linking the exact same thing over and over and over, as if this legitimizes each other by just linking the same thing to each other. It's pathetic. It's not the same. Being a contrarian is better because you asked for proof. You get what you're served? No, these are not, because if these people are not asking for proof. People are afraid of censorship. Wouldn't it open up competition for new platforms? No, listen, I want to make another thing very clear, okay? I'm going to throw some of these people a bone. I think social media should be regulated, and there should be governmental oversight onto social media. And here's why. It's because social media is massive. It's extremely powerful, and it can absolutely change public perception in many different ways. Do you think that it's a good idea to have a private company that is owned by foreign interests, sometimes interests that are aligned opposing to us, such as China or Russia or some of these other countries that might not necessarily like the U.S. so much, owning a company that can present and promote different things in the country, different agendas, different points, different politicians, and influence elections? No, it is not a good idea. There should be transparency, there should be accountability, and there should be regulation, and it should be done by the government to the corporations. I don't give a fuck if, it's a private company. That doesn't matter to me. It operates for the public, it's accountable to the public, and the public is the government. And yes, I trust the government 1,000 more fucking percent than I trust a private company. And you know why? Because the government got rid of slavery 170 years ago, and the private companies still use it today, except for they use it in third world countries. They still use it. I'm not going to listen to some fucking bullshit about how social media is completely unbiased. I think that it's biased in many ways as well. But just because it's biased in many ways doesn't mean that it's biased in every single way, and every single accusation of a bias is automatically true. Third party country? Yeah. I understand your point. Even I think you're taking a couple of leaps. I understand the frustration. Yeah, I'm very frustrated with it. I think that it can be manipulated. And even if it's not being manipulated overtly, I think that it is being manipulated subversively. I think so. And there's even different companies talking about how they try to do this. This isn't like some sort of shadow government plan. This is outward. Why are you talking about this for so long, though? Because I'm fucking pissed. I'm fucking pissed that people would call me stupid for questioning something that's a completely fucking baseless accusation. It upsets me. It pisses me off. And they get pissed. They get mad at me and tell me that I'm wrong. I'm not. I don't want to get political. Gets political. There's no political. It's not political. Look, fucking in 2016, the Democrats thought the Russians influenced social media. In 2020, the Republicans think the Democrats influence social media. Everybody agrees that this shit's getting manipulated. Like, there's nobody that's on the other side of this except for morons. It's like people were born yesterday. They forgot everything that's happened except for this year. God damn, I'm fucking pissed. I'm so fucking mad reading this stupid shit. Reading this stupid fucking shit. These stupid opinions from these fucking morons. The ideological nutcases that can't think about anything critically. It's pathetic. Do I keep reading if it makes you mad? It's a good question. Let's see if there's any more of them. I appreciate Asmon's honest opinion. It's a shit take, to be honest. Can't say I agree with Asmon here. I usually think it was way more level-headed than most people. That's right. A guy who sits on a computer, plays MMOs all day, definitely understands the world he's living in. That's right. Because you know why? Because YouTube is on a computer. It's on a computer. So yeah, the guy that's on the computer all day might have something to say. The guy thinks being a mechanic somehow gives you an intrinsic understanding of the world. You work in an accounting office and somehow now you have credibility to talk about issues that you don't know anything about. It's just so stupid, man. Do the guys disagreeing? Are y'all regular stream viewers? No, it's a YouTube audience. Yeah, it's a YouTube audience. Many more people are upset about this on YouTube than on Twitch. I love the been around the block a few times arguments that old dumb fucks used to use. Yeah, the stupid dumb fucks that probably can't even use their smartphone are the ones telling me that I don't understand anything about what's happening on YouTube. Yeah, it's pathetic. Because you can ban people on Twitch. Wait, you think watch? Well, I'll scroll down. Let's see. We'll just get rid of this one, right? We go right here. We go hide user from channel, and he's banned. There we go. I could have banned them on YouTube too. Yeah. So what were you saying about how I can't ban them on YouTube? You're wrong, bruh. Yes, it works by preventing view botting, but it can also be used to censor dissent. It's too broad-scoped and regressive in terms of limiting viewability of actually viral videos. So what you're saying is the same thing that I'm saying. So you're saying that, yes, it can be used for something bad. I agree with you. Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I think that it can censor viral videos, and that is bad. Abso-fucking-lutely it's bad. But one point of reference does not mean that it's happening. Yeah, I can ban anybody I want on YouTube. The comment pretends to know the YouTube like a popular streamer does. I don't get it. Yeah, it's just dumb. All right, anyway, I'll take a few comments from chat, then we're going to move on, okay? Yeah, I've wasted like an hour on this because I'm just I was so fucking annoyed by this whenever I woke up. I was going to say this morning, but this afternoon, and I saw this. It was just so fucking stupid to me. So yeah, I don't know. I read some of these comments. They pissed me off. It's not the first time, and it probably won't be the last. Why are so many people so adamant the world and system is out to get them? Because they're unhappy with the state of their current life. And so because of that, they're finding reasons for why it's happening. The general population of the world today, people become so polarized they don't take anything other than their own beliefs into account. Yeah, that's probably it. Yeah, I'm so fucking pissed. I'm so fucking pissed reading these morons. It's unbelievable to me, man. It really is. Essentially a big coincidence that happened during a protest. We want to hear more about the possibility from you, I guess. But it's not. Like, there's not... Like, what's the possibility? Could this be used to censor people? Yeah, of course it could happen. But there's no evidence of it happening, so there's no reason to talk about it. Like, what? Yeah. How'd you feel like Twitch or YouTube banned you for an arbitrary reason from their media platforms? Well, I'd be upset. I'd be upset. Is this... And now you're going to say, well, now you know how they feel because this happens. Right? Like, yeah, I'd be upset. No, morons. Yeah, it's nuts, man. It's absolutely nuts. Your take on this when I saw the YouTube video was bad, in my opinion. The people, it's just people being unhappy. Almost all censorship starts under the guise of something else. Laws throughout America were made with ulterior motives behind them. It's not conspiracy, just facts. Yes, because some things have happened in the past that are bad, that means that some things that are happening now could be used for bad things. Holy shit. Yeah, of course. I don't think that I can change people's opinion with this kind of stuff. I really don't. It's like you can provide, like this is, I think that anybody that disagrees with me on this is a fucking idiot. You are a fucking idiot if you're disagreeing with me on this. And I don't think that there is another point of view. I don't think that there is any logic in thinking otherwise. I don't think that there is any sort of alternative perspective to have. It is purely fucking inferior. It is based on no evidence, and it is based on conspiracy theories, assumptions, and baseless accusations. It's stupid. All opinions are not created equal. Some of them are just really fucking dumb.